Hi, I'm Mark from Mark of the Cyberbeast. Today's episode, we're going to do a post-earnings follow-up. Now, I hope you watched my pre-earnings video because it was so freaking spot on. And we're going to go over that and more in this video. Now, the earnings call just happened. Elon spoke. So I've got some notes in front of me. I couldn't memorize this because we are just like live off the press here. So for starters, on the last episode, I said we're either going to drink ourselves into oblivion or have a champagne toast. Well, how about a margarita toast? That's the closest I got here to champagne. This is a kudos to everyone at Tesla and our year we had. So first up, okay, we're going to do this in phases. The first thing I want to talk about is things I got right in this video that I did the other day. Because I did the video on Monday, released it on Tuesday, earnings were today on Wednesday. Now, everything I talked about literally was talked about in the earnings call, but Elon stressed these. And so, again, my wife and I follow Tesla stock like crazy. My wife is always watching videos. She fills me in on all the little nuances. I'm on X checking it out. Like I said, we really love Tesla, the stock. There's my Cybertruck, her Model 3, and she wants a Roadster. So if Tesla stock keeps going up, we may have to get her one. So here's some cool things I got right. Now, I said the stock would go up and down like crazy. And some people do what's called arbitrage, when they buy it when it goes low and then it hopefully goes up and they sold. Well, after the bell, Tesla's stock went as low as $365. I have a friend of mine who's a Tesla owner and investor. He grabs them at $370. Well, the peak Tesla went up to in this aftermarket was $413. So, I mean, that's a swing of $45, $50 almost. And he's holding on to his shares. But if you were to sell it, that was an easy $50 a share to buy and sell. Now, we're not done yet. Tomorrow, after the bell, now don't forget, Europe opens up at 4 a.m. Okay, so you're gonna see some pre-market stuff from what they call Globex highs. So you'll probably see Tesla hit 413 or higher tomorrow in what's called the Globex session. And then when market opens here at 9:30 Eastern time, then you're going to start seeing some changes. You might see some sell-off. You might see some buying. We talked about that 420 call wall. Elon loves that 420. Well, so do the investors, right? Gotcha. Okay, so we talked about that. We got that right. Second thing I talked about was Austin being the first to do robo-taxis, okay? This is exciting. I'm going to be smiling this whole episode here. I apologize. No, I'm not going to apologize. I'm just going to keep smiling. So we talked about Austin. He said by June of this year that Austin will have unsupervised robo-taxis, okay? And he said across the U.S. throughout the rest of the year. So he's anticipating robo-taxis in major cities throughout 2025, first in Austin, like I had talked about. And that's just going to be huge. The other thing I talked about, FSD, he said, and some of the Tesla engineers said Q2 is going to be amazing. Well, Q2 is June. That's your Austin launch, right? Now, Elon said he has been talking to OEMs, other manufacturers, and it was plural, okay? It wasn't just the one we think about as Ford. It was plural. And he said, FSD or you're going to be dead, okay? So think about that. If other car companies don't license this, they're gonna die. He's gonna have licensing for all the manufacturers, and you're either gonna buy a car with FSD or you're not. And he's the only option in town. It's like being the only person who sells water in the Sahara Desert. You got the market cornered. There's no one close to him. So he's got it. You're a stockholder. You're grinning ear to ear. We talked about the importance of this. I love that. FSD just warms my heart. We're going to talk more about that in this earnings deck. We've got some great stats and numbers I want to talk about. Now, one of the things he talked about is one of the things I mentioned. I can't believe he said this. He said, 2025 will go down in Tesla history as a historic year. And I said to you, 2025 is going to be huge for Tesla. Wow. Okay. So now you're going to go all in on Tesla. Right now, Tesla's around the 410 range, 412 right now. Buy, buy, buy. Again, not tax or investing advice or information, but according to Elon, 2025 is going to be a breakout year. We're so excited, so excited. And that's why we're having a drink, because we're excited. Now, he says it's going to be historic primarily because of FSD. He said the exponential growth from the AI in FSD is not 50% or 100%. He said 400%. This is going to be incredible. And what did I talk about in my video? I said earnings, you know, maybe a little bit up, maybe average. We're going to talk about the numbers, and really the financials were kind of almost like a break even year over year. But I said the guidance would win. And guess what? They've released the financials, the stock dropped to 365, and then they start speaking about the guidance. And then I got my email from Tesla, the slide deck, and then Elon started talking. And what did that stock do? They loved the guidance. They don't care that it was not a growth year over year. They knew the last 4 years, the previous administration cut down and just beat the heck out of the stock. Things are going to change now, okay? And I'm not going to apologize for my political insert there. So a friend of mine told me not to apologize for that. So I'll take him up on that, John. Now, the guidance was amazing. Here's the huge thing about guidance. I mentioned this as well. Energy storage. Tesla sold 11 gigawatts of storage. 11 gigawatts. Now, you may not understand the significance. That's a 243% increase over last year. And as we're going to discuss in the slide deck, guess what? They expect a 50% growth next year after it already grew 243% this year. That is just absolutely just incredible numbers, okay? And he did mention Optimus, and he did mention 2025. We're going to talk about this in the slide deck from Tesla, and I do want to make sure the stuff I go over here with you, we're not going to go into details. We're not going to explain EBITDA. We're not going to bore you with accounting stuff. I'm just going to highlight the really key things that you need to know and why it's so important to invest. Now, I filtered down some cool things. The earnings per share, analysts expected 76 cents. It came in at 73. Not the end of the world. That's why I said financials. The revenue, it came in at 25.71 billion. They expected 27.26. So yeah, $1.5 billion down, but you know what? It was a tough year. Everyone knows. Look, you're out there, hopefully, maybe if you're self-employed, you know, it was a tough year last year. The future looks bright. Vehicle deliveries, 12,000 cars down. Yeah, that's gonna put a ding in it, I'm sure. Energy storage, again, 11 gigawatts, 243% increase. I don't know. That's just huge. There's a lot of margin on that, and that is just amazing. By the way, Tesla not only makes money from storage and cars, but they get energy tax credits from other companies that they acquire, and they earn money from that. So Tesla really makes money from a lot of different places. Now, again, this is a 35-page slide deck. I filtered down to a handful of pages, and I'm just highlighting a couple bullet points for this episode. Now, one of the things I want to highlight, again, he mentioned increased AI training by over 400% in 2024. That is huge. And he says it's going to get even bigger in 2025. We don't know the number. They didn't give a number what they expect, but if it was 400% last year, it's going to be probably on par. This is big. Over 3 billion miles driven cumulatively on FSD as of January. So you guys are out there using FSD in your Cybertrucks and other Tesla vehicles. Hopefully you're using it all the time. I use mine as much as possible. Over 3 billion miles. We're going to explain why that's important in just a few minutes. Also, they finally completed construction of the mega factory in Shanghai, okay, which means more capacity for production, okay, and that's going to be big because not only is there going to be capacity now, there's going to be ability to lower prices, which we're going to talk about in a second. Some basic financial stuff. Basically, total revenues compared to last year are up 1%. The gross profit is down 1%. You know, let's just call it a net neutral, okay, on the financials. But also you have to realize they spun up a lot of H100s, a data center, 50,000 GPUs. That was a big expense. So yeah, they had to spend some money, spending money to make money. But I'll tell you, this is going to be a phenomenon. We've got all the AIs, and AI is huge. So we've got that data center more than anyone else's. That is the biggest, I say, asset besides the employees of Tesla, which Those Tesla employees, I love each and every one of you. We'll make sure this is for you. Okay, now, a couple cool things on stats and AI. In Q4, Tesla vehicles using autopilot drove 5.94 million miles. Let's just call that 6 million miles just in Q4. That's the best quarter ever. Now, compared to the US average, which is 0.7 million miles. The 6 million miles were without accidents, okay? That's huge, 6 million miles in FSD without an accident. They also mentioned planned pilot production of Optimus, which means a couple hundred a week, a couple hundred a month, whatever, for Optimus in 2025. So they're gonna start production of Optimus later this year. Batteries. The in-house 4680 battery cells, which are in your Cybertruck, okay? They had a production rate exceeding 2,500 Cybertrucks a week. So they're making enough 4680 batteries for these Cybertrucks to meet the demand. And as they start phasing them into their other vehicles, which we'll talk about in a second, that's the other surprise I'm leaving you with. That's going to be huge. They're going to be able to manufacture these, and I believe it's the Nevada plant is where their mega factory is for their batteries, and do that well. Now, they mentioned, as I just said, energy storage deployments to grow at least 50% year over year in 2025. Considering the 243% growth, 50%, wow, that's just an amazing number. So if they did 11 gigawatts this year, they're anticipating 16, 17 gigawatts next year. Huge margins. Alrighty, here's what I was holding back for you. Plans for new vehicles, including more affordable models, remain on track for the start of production in the first half of 2025. He did not address any questions or answer any questions regarding, they purposely avoided it, but that $25,000 inexpensive car looks like it's coming out in just a few months, and that's going to be huge for Tesla, okay? Robotaxis, Cybercab, they said, we mentioned under their control this year, starting in June in Austin, but they said they will start volume production. Volume meaning you and I could buy it. My wife said she wants to get at least 3 cyber taxis. Okay, Dolly, we're getting 3 cyber taxis. That's going to start in 2026. We're all in on Tesla. Alrighty, now, just a couple little slides left. Hang in there. Alrighty, this is a real cool one. This is a graph I'm going to put down below, but basically it's average cost of goods per vehicle, okay? And look at this graph going down. They're reducing the price of their vehicle substantially. Now, this is actually per quarter. So you can see from Q1 2023 to Q4 2024, look at that reduction in cost of goods. They're actually making stuff cheaper, and guess what? Their car prices are coming down. Let me ask you a question. When you went to the store and you bought your last car, do you see anyone lowering the price of their cars? Do you see people lowering the price of eggs? That's the topic right now, right? The price of eggs. Prices of anything aren't going down. They are for Tesla because they're able to lower the cost. That is huge. That's what makes this company amazing. And that's what makes the people who work there amazing. They get it. They're using technology. Now, the last thing I'm going to talk about in this slide deck is specific for you Cybertruck owners, okay? This is cyber nerd stuff right here. So I'm going to real quickly go over it. A lot of stuff you know about, but I'm going to tell you the how and why. So, advancements in technology this year for the Cybertruck. Obviously, the stainless steel exoskeleton, huge. They actually did a lot of this stuff. They learned and they use air bending manufacturing, which they can bend stainless steel without even touching it. Amazing technology. The giga castings, if you're not familiar with the giga castings, that's how they press this one big piece. They also do it for the Model Ys and Model 3s, and they assemble those pieces. Those giga castings are coming in huge, especially for production. For those of you who don't know, and I stumbled upon this on an article, the integrated sound system with the Cybertruck. So, ever wonder why your Cybertruck stereo sounds so freaking amazing? It's because they embed the woofers and the sound permeates through the actual body of the truck. So they build the body of the truck, and most of the time you've realized you've seen speakers in boxes. Now they put the speakers in boxes because the sound reverberates. Well, to save space, what Tesla does is they use the body of the truck and put that woofer in there, so they save space and they get a lot of bass boost, as you know. So there's that technology they've done. The 48-volt architecture, which is in the truck that you know of. Now, this is really cool. An 800-volt battery system. I didn't know about this. Now, this is for the Cybertruck and the semi-truck, okay? Use smaller cables, which reduces the cost, and it allows higher charging rates, up to 500 kilowatts. I mean, we talked about recently, superchargers now, the level 4 superchargers that are out there, will charge your Cybertruck up to 375 kilowatts. They're slowly coming out. The next phase will be a 500 kilowatt charge. That's some fast charging right there. They need that for the Semi. They have it for your Cybertruck. That's huge. Etherloop communication architecture. For those nerds out there like me, gigabit Ethernet. It's 1,000 times faster than traditional automotive communications. You may be aware that cars communicate with just copper cables, right? Just your regular wires. Well, Ethernet goes 1,000 times faster with a 70% reduction in vehicle wires, okay? So that technology is huge. The next thing is gonna be the bi-directional charging, the whole power share. For those of you who took advantage of that with your Foundation series. This is huge. They're now gonna look at putting that into other vehicles as you have in your Cybertruck to power your house if the power goes out. That's huge. Again, they talked about custom laminated glass, which makes it more stylish, safer. Adaptive air suspension, as we see in our Cybertruck, right? It adjusts based upon your location and your ride feel that you want to absorb the shocks, or if you want it more in a sporty mode. That's the other thing that they're starting to put on other vehicles as well. The steer-by-wire, which is innovated by the Cybertruck. And finally, the rear-wheel steering. If you guys love that rear-wheel steering as much as I do, I think they're catching on. This may be something they look at putting in other cars or when they revamp theirs. Now, hopefully you are Tesla shareholders and investors. I just want to say this was a great earnings because it goes to show you, as I mentioned in my video, the numbers don't have to be everything. Now, if you looked at Meta's earnings, which happened the same night, Meta's earnings were huge. You saw Meta go up $30, $40 a share. Well, Tesla, you know, Tesla dipped this week, but it went back, it's at 413. I think, look, if it's here at 413 tomorrow at the end of the day, 410 even, I'm happy, okay? Because what I'm looking forward to is the guidance in 2025. People said 500. I still think it's going to be a $600 end of year. Again, not tax or investment advice, but I think it's going to be 500 by mid-year, probably 600 by the end of the year. And who knows, maybe the prices of that Cybertruck will come down. You'll buy a second Cybertruck for your wife. Of course, she loves your Cybertruck. Right? Well, I want to thank you for joining me in this episode. I hope you enjoyed this earnings call, a little deviation from normal. And as always, I want you to click like, subscribe. I want you to comment below, let you know how you think I'm doing. And we'll see you again tomorrow on Mark of the Cyberbeast.